Hell
Ready
yeah.
if you are.
I'm ready. I'm on my second glass of whiskey, dude. Just fucking
Fuck
chilling.
yeah. Let's do it. Rip it up.
Tay's in Florida, so I'm just fucking chilling. I was
Hell
listening
yeah.
I was listening to a Chris Stapleton record, fucking writing my shit up for the pod, drinking whiskey. So fucking
yeah.
I'm out here.
And then you get
I got
UFC
some
300
my-
tomorrow.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I'm going home to watch it with my dad. I can't fucking wait. Gonna get ripped. I was like, Mom, make me a bunch of dip.
Yeah. Oh, what kind of dip? You go buff chick?
Gotta. Oh, gotta.
It's so. All right. So this is going to be included in the podcast. Welcome everybody to episode 50, which is going to be the mega episode. We're going to be talking obviously a lot of movies and shit, but UFC 300 is on the horizon tomorrow, and as you can't already tell, we're pretty fucking stoked for it.
Probably gonna ramble on this episode
Quite a bit, but it is episode 50. I realize, so that's pretty cool. That's probably a good episode to do it.
Doing 50 of anything is like a lot.
Yeah, we did it.
There, what have we hit like a year now? Surely.
Yeah, we're definitely over a year, right? Because we just don't have 52 episodes because there were some weeks we skipped.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure we've definitely hit a year by now.
Hell yeah.
Fuck it. Good stuff. But anyways, back to buffalo chicken dip. That's the important. Nobody down here in Texas knew what it was.
Really?
It was like mind-boggling and mind-blowing to them. They're like, I think we figured that out when I think Sophie was having like a work party. And she's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna make buffalo chicken dip." Everyone's like, "What? What the hell's that?" No one knew. And I was like, "What is this horrible place we live in?"
You can't go to a party in Pennsylvania without there being a plate of it there.
Yeah,
big ass bowl, a crock pot, even.
100%. And no one knew what it was, but they had it, and obviously that's like they're obsessed now. How can you not be?
My go-to has been I've been taking it to tailgate. Every time we have a tailgate, firing it up. Use a rotisserie chicken too instead of that canned.
Same here.
Gotta use the roto.
So much better. All right. So, Chip, what do you use?
I always just go scoop out of. I'm not
like
a huge
the Frito scoop.
Yeah, or the Tostino scoop.
Okay.
Frito scoop is delicious.
The Frito scoop. If I want to feel like a big fatty, that's what I'm doing. I'm pounding those down. Otherwise, Sophie, the quote unquote healthy Tostino, the wheat scoop or whatever.
Oh,
I'm like,
get out of
those. But if I got some big like Frito scoops, that's what I'm in.
Oh yeah, I need dip in my mouth right now.
Yeah. All right. Now, you know what, baby? No, definitely. I'm making buffalo chicken dip tomorrow as well. Gotta have it. Big event. It's big sporting event. You need it.
Huge day.
All right, we're back here for this mega episode. We are going to go through not just movies coming out this week, which would be April 12th, but movies that have came out, in the past 2 weeks. I'm going to cover all of those. You have a bunch of news here.
Ton
of news, and then we're going to
even more has been coming out, and I'm banking it for next week because it's all good shit. Like, so I'm just like, I'm not going to add any more. I already have like however many down there, so
yeah, spread it out. So got some Convince Me to See It or Not for I saw Godzilla X Kong. I saw Snack Shack, Anatomy of a Fall. You also saw the First Omen and Winnie the Pooh. So a lot of horror movies on your side of it.
I know. I was thinking like I already talked about Winnie the Pooh, but I was looking back, and it was because the last episode we did was right before I saw it, and that's whenever I talked about the whole first thing. Like I already talked about it, and I did text you a little bit about it, but it'll be fun to actually talk about it finally.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited because from what I can tell, based on what you've told me so far, not nearly as horrible as the first.
No, I actually think you should watch it.
Oh shit! God damn it! Okay.
Spoiler alert for like probably the closer to the end of the episode. You should probably just watch it.
Probably just. And then Ty, I think you see a familiar face here in our doc, but we have another segment coming back. So
for 50th.
Yeah, got to do it. Got to bring it back. So let's go ahead and start burning through these movies that are technically all released at this point. But let's talk about what has come out. Not going to go into all of them, but especially the older ones that are already been out for like a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is at this point. No need to go into detail about them, especially because the two big ones you're going to talk about later in the episode.
Exactly.
So, as we already discussed, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 came out. Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, also came out. Ty has seen both of those. We'll get into that. So, let's hop into some of the other ones here, and we'll start with Monkey Man. So, Monkey Man, Dev Patel, he is starring in it, directing it, and writing it. So, pretty much, Ty, Indian John Wick is basically what we have heard about it. So the summary: an anonymous young man unleashes a campaign of vengeance against the corrupt leaders who murdered his mother and continued to systematically victimize the poor and powerless. So instead of a dog, it's just...
I do still really want to see this movie. I haven't seen it yet. It's on the list though. The trailer never really got me. It's like, I just don't know if it's going to be as good as John Wick, but like I want it to.
And that was probably a bad marketing on their side to compare it to John Wick, because that's what everyone's going to do then when they go to see it.
Mm-hmm. I did see that they've been like having like, they'll have like UFC fighters like promote it. I guess they had like Dustin Poirier like do a commercial for it or something like that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
I think it's getting solid reviews though, so that's good. That's making me want to see it. I'm going to catch it one of these days.
Yeah, I got a 7.3 out of 10 here on IMDb, 70 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Nice.
So
and I think it's probably similar to that on Rotten Tomatoes as well, something like 80s. I think it's got a B cinema score as well, too. I want to start bringing in the cinema scores. Oh, is it a good, what do you say, like, a good... Can't think of it.
Like a good system, or
yeah, that'll work.
I'm not too familiar about that one, but yeah, let's do it.
Cinema score. It's always like
is how I feel.
I'll have to pull it up and send it because they like how they rate the cinema score is actually really like nice.
So Monkey Man, basically Indian John Wick. I think we both are in the same boat. We want to see that one. The other movie here, The First Omen. Ty, you will talk about that a good bit later. But a young American woman is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, but encounters a darkness that causes her to question her faith and uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of evil. So this is related to The Omen, right? Like the original movie.
So
right?
The original one, which I had never seen, which it doesn't really matter too much until the end. When I'm getting ahead of myself here. It is related to that, yes. It's pretty cool.
So The Omen came out in 1976.
Yeah, so way before us.
Quite handful. What's funny is the most I know about The Omen is Damien, because they make fun of him in South Park and or something like that.
I think there's like 5 or 6 of these movies. This might be the 6th.
There's a lot.
The franchise.
Yeah. There are. You're exactly right. There is 6. However, one of them is a TV series, 2016. And then one of them is a TV movie in 1990. So, seems like people stopped caring. They had to move it directly to TV. But it did put, it's directed by, or I'm sorry, no, not directed by, I screwed that up. The starring Nell Tiger Free, and my main bullet point here is I'm like, that's a sick name.
It really
what
is.
A cool name.
Nell Tiger Free. What?
Nell.
I do see that she was in Game of Thrones. I don't recognize.
She was Marcella Baratheon.
Ah,
yes.
Look her up.
You also get a Lannister in there too.
Side note on that, we just finished a rewatch of House of the Dragon, and I'm just so fired up for season.
Very good.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't done it. I'm still bitter.
It's actually really good. It's like, because I hate the ending of Game of Thrones. I was just talking about that not too long ago, how it kind of ruined the whole series for me, honestly. But this is like, it's good because they do have material to go off of, book House of the Dragon or whatever, and it's kind of like separate enough from that I still appreciate it. It was good.
Okay,
I've watched it twice now. I think you'll like.
I'll have to do it because that's why I'm like, I completely forgot. I'm like, oh, it's all Game of Thrones people in the Three Body Problem on Netflix, and like actor wise. And then I'm like, oh, it's D&D. D&D is actually behind it. I'm like, they're gonna fuck it up. So like that pissed me off.
Yeah, so I didn't know they were behind it. Fuck.
I actually started watching the Chinese version. Which is pretty much 1-for-1 of the book.
Okay.
Which means it is incredibly slow.
Okay.
Like, and you can tell it's funny. Like, if you look at the ratings of the episodes, it's like 7 pretty much across the board until episode like 14-ish, and then it bumps up drastically. And like that makes sense because that's how it was in the book. I'm like, yo, I'm like 50% through, and nothing has fucking happened. And then it goes off the rails. It's actually pretty damn sick.
Speaking of series, I'm gonna start binging Fallout tonight, I think.
Hell yeah, same. It's all out.
Yeah, have you watched any yet?
I have not watched any.
Either. I think that's what's getting fired up after the pod for sure.
Yeah, that sounds like a good move. I fucking love Fallout. And it sounds like they did a good job. Too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've seen that it's like a really good like adaptation. It's like its own thing, so that'll be.
And I love Walton Goggins. That dude is dynamic.
He's the best. He's the best.
Funny fucker.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Yeah, Baby
Vice
Billy.
Principals.
Well, yeah, and he played
he's been in so much.
A man lady in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, that's
right. He killed that too. He was great.
One of my favorite scenes of his of all time is in Vice Principals. Whenever they're in the principal's house and they just decide to burn the fucking house down.
Yeah,
it is so unbelievably funny. He's like, "Let's do the whole damn thing," and they just burn it down.
Yeah, that dude rules. Have you seen The Shield?
I have not.
So he's in that, and he plays like it's serious character. Okay. And like I am like he's still really really good in it. It's just like different to see him in a more serious role.
He's also the one guy in Invincible too, like the leader of all like kind of superheroes.
Yeah,
he's just in a bunch.
He rules. I'll watch anything.
Honestly.
Next movie here, City of Dreams, inspired by the true story. City of Dreams chronicles the journey of a Mexican boy whose dreams of becoming a soccer star are shattered when he's smuggled across the border and sold to a sweatshop in downtown Los Angeles. Yeah, a lot going on there. But decent. I can't say that. Recognizable faces in this one. So Jason Patrick. He is in quite a bit. So The Lost Boys is the big thing he's in, pretty popular 80s vampire movie. Sleepers, which is a good, not exactly mob movie, but kind of like New York type film. But lately, he's just in a bunch of dog.
Okay.
It also stars Paulina Aitin, but she was Tata Escobar in Narcos.
Oh, okay. I never ended up getting into Narcos.
First, the one about Pablo was good. After that, I didn't get.
Yeah, okay.
Once Pablo's over with, and they try to go to like the other cartel, I'm like, no, I don't care. It was Pablo. He's the man. Also, Sam Levine is another face you would recognize here. Glorious Bastards, not another teen movie. And what I recognize him most from is from Freaks and Geeks, the show that kind of got Seth Rogen and James Franco and that crew.
I have to.
Yeah, you'll see his face. You're like, I've seen you. He also looks like a Hobbit. Like he looks like he would be in the Hobbit.
Oh yeah, immediately recognizable face.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. So is this movie just going to be a kid making Nike? What is it?
I don't know. Well, it says it's a true story. So does he actually become a soccer star? I don't think so. I feel like something has to happen, right?
Surely, yeah.
I
don't know. I think this is probably a skip.
I think so too, and it likely goes to because of the director. He's made only straight.
Try to say that last name.
Mohit Ramchandani.
Nailed it, I think. Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be a lot harder. I was like, actually, it's pretty.
Yeah. Episode 50, getting it done. All right, keeping it going here. Like I said, I have a new source for where I am pulling in my movies, so it will be pulling in movies from Hulu and Netflix and Amazon now. So we get a wider range of things to discuss, not just things that go to the theater. So we have The Greatest Hits. This is on Hulu. It is a love story centering on the connection between music and memory and how they transport us, sometimes literally. So it looks like I can't even call it a rom-com, but I guess that's what it feels like it's going for. It seems like it's more drama than comedy. This is on Hulu. It's the writer from Black Widow, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Lucy Boynton from Sing Street and Bohemian Rhapsody is it? Yeah. And then David Cornsweet, who is from Pearl in the City.
Speaking of Pearl, we got the Maxine trailer drop finally, and I am fired up.
Also, watch the... hold on, let me make sure I don't spoil any of your news. No, okay. I also watched the Joker teaser.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna... I'm fired up.
That made me feel better.
I can't believe it.
I was worried.
I know. They make it seem like it was just gonna be straight up musical. I think it's just gonna be like hints of me. I think they said they're gonna be like hints.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be straightforward music. Which that's
Also realizing somehow I skipped this, but Nelly Furtado. See, I fucked it up already. Furtado, apparently in this as well as herself. So that's kind of funny. I guess it has to do with music. So
yeah, that's cool.
Bring her in this. Then Justin H. Bim, yes, is also in this, and he was Edwin in Beef.
Okay, Beef. Yeah, he was in Beef, and then he was also in Umbrella Academy.
Okay, I've not seen that.
I actually really like Umbrella Academy.
That's the one with the talking monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen clips. I've never actually sat down.
It's pretty solid, actually.
Oh, now we got a Netflix movie. This is called Scoop. Is how the BBC obtained the bombshell interview with Prince Andrew about his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. So
wow,
pretty
really pretty recent.
Yeah. This actually looked pretty decent. Likely one I will watch. Has a 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb. That seems like an average movie, and then a 63 out of 100 on Metascore. Who knows? Maybe the pedos are just review bombing and taking it down. That's probably what it is.
All the Epstein heads.
Fuck you.
Only an hour and 42 minutes too. I'm sure it's probably a quick watch.
Yeah, a little shorty.
They made old Gillian
Anderson.
Yeah, they made her look a little bit older.
Yeah. So
at least in that first trailer.
I think even the image,
yeah, the image looks old.
Makeup
old as dirt in the image.
So Gillian Anderson, who quite a few things. X-Files probably the biggest. Rufus Sewell from The Illusionist, A Knight's Tale, and Old. Another recognizable face, right? You see him and you're like, yeah, no, I've seen you in things. But he's never really the frontman. But he is Prince Andrew in this one, so yeah. Good luck on that one.
Yeah, they must have made him look old for this, because he's surely not as old as Prince Andrew.
No, he's got to be, what, 50s, maybe?
Wait, no, this Rufus Sewell says he was born in October.
Yeah.
So he's pretty old. I guess, no?
No. My dad was born in 68.
Okay, never mind. I was like,
yeah,
I looked at it and I was like, right, it's okay, never mind. Yeah, this dude's not that old.
Not 80.
I was like, that guy's like 100.
He's old as shit. Dude, but that's been like a real thing. When like, how does old people talk now? Because we're 30s. And it's like, shit, time's going fast. And like, where it hit me was during the eclipse. So eclipse was like a massive thing down here.
Oh, yeah.
Got the totality or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And we got it all. But that's where it got wild. Was I'm like, oh, when's the next time this will happen over the continental U.S.? And it's not till like 2050 something.
That was like one of the first things Tay said to me, is that I'll be 50 for next week. Like,
Yeah,
well,
fuck that.
yeah. God damn it.
Doesn't feel
No, not one bit.
But British guy directing it, Philip Martin, who also directs The Crown. So Netflix likes to keep tight their directors and their people.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we are coming up on things that came out this week, and the big one is Civil War. We've been talking about it a good bit, and we're excited for it. And so far, so good, Ty. 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 77 out of 100 on Metascore. So pretty solid.
The boy Plem Dog does it again.
So that's the other weird thing, which I have a note here for that. But Civil War is going to be a journey across a dystopian future America, following a team of military-embedded journalists as they race against time to reach D.C. before rebel factions descended upon White House. So Plum Dog, I'm like, yeah, I know he's in it. He was in the trailer. And I'm like looking through the top cast. I'm like, where is he? Not listed under the top cast. He is after everyone and is at the top of rest of the cast listed alphabetically. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's just like a super small character or what.
I don't want to confirm nor deny because I've already seen the movie. I did see it today, but so yeah, I'll leave that up for interpretation.
Okay, yes, that is what I will think of.
Yeah, I'll save it for next week.
But his wife, Kirsten Dunst, also in it. Nick Offerman, and then Alex Garland writing and directing. So Garland, I think we talked about him not too long ago, but he writes a lot of really neat techie shows and movies. And I ran through his list, and honestly, for me, I love the concept for almost every single movie and show he's written. I just feel like it's never executed well. So I think he's a great writer. He needs to get other people to direct it. But you know, I'll save my judgment for when I see this movie. But the other things he has done is Devs, which is a TV show that also had Nick Offerman in it. The lead character in that, aside from Nick Offerman, was the most boring main character ever. Like, anytime they focused on her, I'm like, I don't care about you at all. And like, that's kind of what I mean. Like, it just sometimes the execution just isn't there. But a lot of really cool, thought-provoking movies: Annihilation, Ex Machina, Sunshine, 28 Days Later, and he's even done the Devil May Cry video game.
Okay, sweet.
A lot of different things that he is involved in. The next one here, another Mexican sports movie, The Long Game. In 1955, 5 young Mexican-American caddies, out of the love for the game, were determined to learn how to play, so they created their own golf course in the middle of the South Texas desert.
That's cool.
It is pretty sweet. So, decent amount of people in this as well. Dennis Quaid, who is just like, when they need an old dude for a sports movie, it's Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, all just solid acting.
And Texas. That's probably the other part. He's always like, religious Dennis Quaid, man, Texas, bring him in. You get Oscar Nunez from The Office. You get Cheech from Cheech and Chong. You get Jay Hernandez, which, funny enough, Ty, we were just talking about this movie from Hostel.
Oh, yeah, that is crazy.
And I texted you about how that movie sucks butt.
Yeah, I never even saw it, and I just figured
it is not good. I never, like, I think you said the same thing. Like, back when it came out pretty much the time that the first couple Saw movies were getting popular.
People were just trying to go as gritty and, like, disturbing as possible.
And it just didn't work at all. Like, my biggest problem with Hostel, they had, like, a symphony playing, like, action music in the background the entire time. And it just completely took the horror element out of it. I'm like, I'm not going to feel scared with this action music from, like, a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie going.
Yeah, that's just distracting.
Not great, but was also in Suicide Squad, the shitty one, the shitty first one.
Boo.
He's also in Fergie music video. Just
What?
an interesting thing. He's in Fergie's.
It's so random.
I'm curious, and let me see. Unless that's her real name. No. Okay. I was like, is he married to Fergie? No, he is not.
What is Ferguson? I think it's something Ferguson.
That sounds right.
Yeah, not worth looking up.
He's really the only one that came out of the Black Eyed Peas doing other stuff, right?
I think so, yeah.
The Will.I.Am, didn't he get exposed for like being a ripoff or something? I don't remember.
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. And those are the only two names I even know. I couldn't even name any of the other Black Eyed Peas.
The other two guys.
How many more are there? I don't even know. There got to be at least two, yeah.
At least that was the whole thing. Back in like the 2000s, they had to get like a group of 4 people, and it was usually a boy band to start with, and now it's the Black Eyed Peas turned it into a, I don't know what to call them, conglomerate.
Yeah, pretty much.
We also got Gillian Vigman, who is Pam in Step Brothers, Bethany in The Hangover, and Jean in Snack Shack, which I just saw. So she's in quite a handful of funny movies. This doesn't seem to be a comedy. No, it is not a comedy at all, even though Cheech is in it.
Cheech is in it, yeah.
Weird. But she was also Andrea in American Society of Magical Negroes, which now has a 2.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Who saw that coming?
Damn, annihilated.
How many more I got here? I got a few. I'm gonna run out of breath here. My voice is gonna go, but I got a handful more. Let's keep it going.
Keep it rolling. We got a couple.
The next one here is called Sasquatch Sunset, which is just a fun name. Sounds interesting enough. A year in the life of a unique family. It captures the daily life of the Sasquatch with a level of detail and rigor that is simply unforgettable. So that honestly sounds like it was written by ChatGPT.
Have you seen the trailers for this at all?
No, I have not.
It's always red band, and it starts off just like a 4-shot, and then it just 2 Sasquatches banging immediately.
Hell yeah! All right.
So it looks pretty funny, but the more I'm seeing this, the more it might be like it's gonna be so hit or miss.
Right.
I feel like it's gonna have like such a cult like classic thing about it. Like people are gonna love or hate it. It's only an hour and 29 minutes long. So I hope it's gonna be good. I'm definitely gonna see it. 'Cause it's definitely like unique as hell. It's currently 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm looking at. Okay. So I don't know if surely they're not gonna talk. I wonder if they're gonna talk because in the trailer they just grunt a lot.
I mean,
so,
are the
Sasquatches the whole thing? No, I don't think so. Maybe there might be like they might just grunt and do subtitles because if they just like they do that, it's gonna be a tough watch.
It's probably really funny for like 10 minutes, and then you're like, okay.
That might get old quick. Apparently, I did see that Jesse Eisenberg had to like step in and produce some of the movie to help it get made, and it's like a passion project of his. And I also just read something about it today that people are like walking out of it because it's like so disgusting in some parts. Probably just Sasquatch is doing just nasty shit. So who knows?
Sounds funny to me. Oh no, here we go. No dialogue is spoken by the actors. They only speak in grunts and other guttural noises.
Jeez, oh man.
All right, that's awesome. Oh no, okay, I read that wrong. Never mind. But yeah, Jesse Eisenberg, Riley Keough, who was capable in Mad Max Fury Road, and Daisy Jones in what was that called? Daisy Jones in The Six, like that. Sure. In The Six, yes, a TV series set on Prime. That was on Prime.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good.
Is that the one about Fleetwood Mac?
No.
What's it about? Isn't it about some band?
It is about a band. I don't know if it's a real band.
Okay.
It just says Daisy Jones in the Six, which I don't think was a real band in the 70s.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. But what interested me when I was researching this movie is it is directed and written by 2 guys that come from Rooster Teeth. You know Rooster Teeth?
Yeah, the old gaming channel, right?
Old gaming channel. So they did, Red versus Blue, the Halo series on YouTube. Funny enough, just like a month or 2 ago, Rooster Teeth confirmed that they're shutting down.
Yeah, I did see that too.
So they just lost it, really. There's a lot of things going on there, but fun story. They were a big reason I moved to Austin. I used to go to their conventions in Austin. That's why I would visit here.
Oh, that's cool.
So Rooster Teeth was what actually got me down here.
No way.
R.I.P.
Big rip.
But yeah, it feels like one of those smaller films. It also obviously a movie festival type movie. Sundance got that stupid little stamp on it, which is always worrying. Also, didn't know Ari Aster.
I did just see that. So I'm wondering if it's what the budget on this actually is, because I'm thinking there's no way it's going to make a profit.
Question: does it say yet? I do not see it yet. That might be available down the line, but not seeing.
Yeah.
Not seeing a budget. I wonder how much money just went into the Sasquatch costume. Also, if it's a Sasquatch costume, why do you have to get like? I mean, you said Jesse Eisenberg wanted to be involved. It's like a side project for him, or a passion project. But like, you could get anyone, and throw them in a Sasquatch costume. It doesn't have to be someone famous.
I guess they figured might as well get people that are good at making grunts and want to be
Yeah, I guess so.
Sasquatches.
Next one here. Ty, you texted me when you saw this trailer and said this looks like fucking dog shit.
Yep, this is exactly the one.
And that is Sting. After raising an unervingly. What the fuck does that word even mean? Is this a real word, or did I like typo? Dictionary. Unable to find a definition. Unnervingly. Thank you. That's how it's said. Wow, that was bad. That was rude. After raising an unnervingly talented spider in secret, 12-year-old Charlotte must face the facts about her pet and fight for her family's survival when the once charming creature rapidly transforms into a giant flesh-eating monster. So, yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
And bunch of nobodies made it, bunch of nobodies are in it. So,
I mean, I hate spiders to begin with, but there's no chance I would see this movie at all, just because it looks like absolute trash.
Have you ever seen Eight-Legged Freaks?
Yes, actually. That movie used to be hilarious.
I used to really like that movie. That was great.
I wonder what that runs. Curious. It's got like 10 or less, I'm going to bet.
Scarlett Johansson was in that?
Really? David Arquette, too, of course.
Yeah. Killer.
48% on critic. Right. I'm shocked.
They're not
30% audience, which is wild. The audiences liked it less than critics.
It was so stupid, but so funny.
This is the most like early 2000s like
of all time. 100%.
Like, that big old CGI spider.
Great.
Let the squashing begin.
So bad, but so good. Like, that's the difference between like bad movies from back then and the bad movies now. Bad movies now are just fun.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, don't see that one. Doesn't sound good at all. Damage is the next one here. Dan Lawson, a Chicago detective, travels to Scotland to link up with Scottish detective Boyd following the resurgence of a serial killer whose crimes match an unsolved case he looked into 5 years ago in Chicago. Also doesn't look great. However, it does have Samuel L. Jackson in it. And Vincent Castle, who was Sirach in Westworld.
Okay.
Ratings aren't great so far. We're in the low fives. Terry McDonough, who is a pretty solid TV director, is directing this, but he did The Expanse, Killing Eve, Better Call Saul, and Breaking Bad.
Wow.
Halt and Catch Fire and Suits. So pretty well received and talented director. Just feels like this one didn't.
Yeah, I never even heard. I mean, like a lot of movies, I didn't hear anything about this. Have no idea. Surprised Samuel L. Jackson's in it, but don't know if I'm...
Samuel L. Jackson in the phase of his career where he just starts doing everything?
I was just starting to think that too, and I'm starting to think probably.
Makes me sad.
Yeah.
Kind of like how De Niro did that. Just throws himself into dog shit. It was funny because I heard that was because like his wife spends all his money. I don't know if it was like a joke or not, but they're like he takes every role he can do because of her spending habit.
Yeah, and he just had a kid at like whatever the hell age he is
Good
now.
God.
So no, of course he's got to have to start making all his money again.
De Niro. It's like you see that name now and it doesn't hold the same value as it did.
Oh yeah, not at all. Well, luckily he did just do Killers of the Flower Moon.
He did.
That was about like the
But
last. That was his last shot at anything great. I mean, he did get nominated. So
sure, and I'm curious if that was Scorsese kind of throwing him the bone,
probably
because they're buddies.
Yeah,
which is. Speaking of an actor that does everything, Nicolas Cage is in Arcadian. A father and his twin teenage sons fight to survive in a remote farmhouse at the end of the world. And I had to read that like 6 times when I was writing it down. I'm like, that how they said it? And it is the end of the world. So the end is near, basically. But Nicolas Cage is in it, which is always a fun start. Jaden Martell, who is Bill from the newer It film.
Okay.
He was also in Knives Out. Then Benjamin Brewer is the director. He was the visual effects guy for Everything Everywhere All.
Oh wow!
And wrote Reptile, the Justin Timberlake movie that was on Netflix that we were kind of middle of the road on.
Yeah.
However, another music video director. He directed the Skrillex and Diplo and Justin Bieber. What's the song called? Where Are You Now?
Oh wow!
Where Are You Now? Did that music video. Did some Foster the People music videos and Chainsmokers music videos.
All pretty like solid like music.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, like for the first time, not just like obscure music. It's actually like solid like contemporary music.
Yeah. So he's directed that stuff, which we know kind of tends to lead to being a good movie director from what we. However, the writer Mike Nylon has not done a damn thing.
Huh. This one I did see whenever I was looking for movie tickets this week. I did see it on there, and I almost went and saw it, but like times just didn't light up. I thought about going to see it like maybe today after I saw Civil War, but I didn't want to rush around and do it right again. And then I thought about maybe going on my way home tomorrow, but nothing really lined up. But it's on the list. I kind of do want to see this.
It sounds good, and Nick Cage does weird ass roles, but the weird ass roles are usually pretty good.
Exactly, like Nightmare. Was it Nightmare Scenario last? The one
Dreams.
we saw. Dream Scenario. Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested.
I think it's getting decent reviews. I think it's like about a 6 everywhere or so.
69 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Okay.
Yeah, probably worth a watch.
I'll probably definitely watch that one, whether I wait till it's streaming or not.
Who knows? Probably will be.
Yeah.
Next one here, kind of out of nowhere, but I am excited for this. Sweet Dreams. This follows Morris, who must coach a misfit softball team of his fellow housemates during his mandatory stay at Sweet Dream Sober Living in order to get his life back on track. Also, that's like a massive like trope that you always see is like a drunk guy, a former criminal has to coach a sports team for some reason.
Yeah, it's like why what makes him qualified to do this?
Why are they going to do that?
I'm looking at it now. It's got like a lot of
ton of people. So Johnny Knoxville is the main guy in it. Kate Upton, Bobby Lee, Theo Von Gata, and then Laiji Sarkey, who is the director and writer. He produced The Peanut Butter Falcon, which is a fantastic movie. However, he has not directed or wrote much, so this will be one of his debuts.
This one, I'm definitely curious about this.
And I don't see I don't have Showtimes.
I don't either. I'm seeing it released.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Where.
I'm not seeing any Showtimes though. I wonder what it's rated. Is it rated R? Do we know?
God. So it doesn't say. If it doesn't say, that usually points to it streaming.
Yeah.
Because I think they have different rules. Let's see here. Sweet Dream Streaming. See if we can find this answer on the fly. Sweet Dreams. That's the old one. That's a 1905 one. Come on.
So is it just a remake then?
No.
Oh, okay, just a title.
The other Sweet Dreams is like something completely different.
Okay.
Sweet Dreams is this streaming. April 12th. No. Theaters.
Wow.
I just don't have it, but then it will be going to Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay.
Oh, available digitally on April 16th, Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay. So it must just be going straight to Paramount Plus.
Yeah, that's what it's done. With a limited. So that technically came out today on the 12th.
Oh, okay.
So it's out now in theaters, but streaming 16th. So
I wonder whose love interest Kate Upton is. That's tough. That seems like a tough get Kate Upton into a movie.
Bring her down.
These days. Used to have not one but two Kate Upton posters on my wall.
Very nice.
Until I was like damn near in college. So
one for each can.
Exactly.
But I am excited for that. Honestly, probably likely to talk about it if it actually does come to streaming.
Yeah,
on the 16th. Next episode. All right, coming to the end here. Got two more. Leroy, Texas is the name of the movie, which feels like a horrible name for a movie, but here it is. Leroy, Texas. When Ray discovers his wife is cheating on him, he decides he's going to kill himself. His plans suddenly change when a stranger mistakes him for a low-rent hitman. So
this sounds hilarious.
He just goes with it. He's like, you know what? Yes, I am. I am a hitman. This is got some familiar faces, but they're usually like very secondary role type guys. So Steve Zahn, who I see his face, and I'm like, you're in everything. But War for Planet of the Apes, Ridiculous Six, Modern Family, The Good Dinosaur, Dallas Buyers Club, Daddy Daycare. He's also in Dr. Dolittle 2, I believe, which was my favorite. You get John Majaro from The Big Short, Past Lives, that movie sucks butt. And then Super Pump, the TV show about Uber, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which is awesome, fantastic show.
Okay.
Good one. Dylan Baker, and I was looking through his filmography. I'm like, man, I feel like I haven't seen a lot of this, but your face, I see it. I'm like, I know you. But he was also in Dreams. And
okay.
Spider-Man 2 and 3.
Okay.
The original one. Wow, Tom. No, not Tom. Tobey Maguire one. Tobey Maguire one. So you look at his face, you recognize him. Also, yeah. Brad Leland, who I did not write down here, but I'm looking at him. I'm like, I know you too. He was in Hancock, Deepwater Horizon, Friday Night Lights is where I know him from.
Okay,
Played Buddy. So again, another just Texas guy. They're like, we need a Texas man, and then here he is.
Yeah, he looks like
big
Texas. No, big Texas.
Wears a big ass hat. Probably got some booze stuff.
Oh, he's in The Last of Us too for an episode. Didn't even recognize him, I don't think. And he's in Love and Death. I watched that one too. I don't remember either.
Awesome, but yes,
I'm gonna try to watch this one. I feel like it's probably streaming too. It seems like it's actually got like a 6.7, 68 Metascore. I mean, that's not terrible.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Sounds funny as hell.
First off, is Leroy, Texas a real place?
Oh.
It is not. Liars. Let's see where this is streaming. When? Well, I guess you know the when. So where? It will be able to rent on Apple TV. It's one of those call it video on demand.
Okay.
So instead of the straight to DVD. They do video on demand now. However, it does say, oh no, this is a fucking liar. It said you could do a free trial of Apple TV Plus and stream it for free. But that's not true. It says that, and then below it says watch similar movies for like liar. So, says it's in some theaters, so yet another limited release.
Okay. That's one that we maybe sneaky end up liking.
Yeah, I love that. Like, this feels like it could be like oh man, I'm already drawing what's the Alien one? Pennsylvania?
Jules? Was it Jules?
Jules, yeah, like another under the radar.
I forgot all about That's a great movie.
Spooky, funny, nice, heartwarming story. This probably won't be heartwarming. It might be. Who knows? It's about a contract killer, but find out. All right, last one here, and then I'm gonna stop talking and take a drink. This is The Absence of Eden, an ICE agent struggling with the moral dilemmas of border security and an undocumented woman fighting to escape a ruthless cartel, cross paths and work together to save the life of an. This is Zoe Saldana, so you get old Gamora.
Okay.
And along with Adria Arjona, who sadly was in Morbius.
Ooh.
Was also in True Detective and Six Underground. Another smaller film. It feels like the writer and director also have not done.
I just wonder if Mexican Joker's gonna show up.
He just pop up. What's up? Who's that other Mexican rapper that just came on like Joe Rogan recently? The Mexican. Sorry, he was just there.
I'm not sure.
It out. Joe Rogan. Mexican OT. The Mexican OT. I guess he's a rapper.
Oh, okay.
But he's kind of funny, kind of silly dude. But he's just kind of like coming up, and they were like talking about like and how it's gonna happen. But that's another good one. Like, I had no idea who this Mexican dude was. Goes on Joe Rogan, of course, gets even more popular because
that's usually how.
But like, it's weird. I look at people now, and I'm like, you're like my age probably, and then they're like 22. I'm like, oh, damn,
it's really bad. It's ridiculous, actually.
Doesn't feel good. Like, there's a kid in my jiu-jitsu class I was training with, and we were just talking or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, so what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm still going to school, and I'm like, okay, he's in college. I'm like, oh yeah, where do you go? And he said like the name of a high school. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, how old are you? He's like, I'm 17. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I thought he was like, 17. Early mid-20s. But
that's like people like our parents' age. Like, you look at their high school yearbooks, they look like they're in their 50s and they're in like 10th grade. It's not.
It's a weird feeling.
So weird. I feel like we talk about that quite a bit, but it is so weird.
Dude, it came for us. Everyone said it was coming, and here we are.
You know what else is here? The news, Dylan.
Let's
take a breather. So we got a lot this week coming out of CinemaCon, but once that's fully wrapped up, I'll have a lot more. Probably highlight a lot of that in the next episode. But for now, I'm going to hop into some things we do have at CinemaCon, as well as just other stuff. Starting off, though, I feel like we just talked about this not too long ago, too. We're doing a scary movie franchise review. So Paramount Pictures announced that it is partnering with the Fast and Furious producer Neil Moritz to resurrect the dormant franchise. So it's going into production in this fall, and it should hit theaters in 2025. Since horror has been continued to be such a major force at the box office, they're going to have plenty to work with. Hopefully, probably stuff like Five Nights at Freddy's, Megan, something like that, I'm sure. Miramax is fully going to finance the production, with Paramount handling distribution. So hopefully they just go over the top. Hopefully they don't pull any punches, and I hope that they're just like politically incorrect as hell, just rude. Everything that made the first, 3 of these all funny. But we'll see how that is. It might be terrible though.
They're
I'm
doing
not sure.
a similar type movie, not another church movie. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So it's not another church movie, and it's basically making fun of like the Medea Tyler Perry movies.
Okay.
So that's coming as well. Also, fun fact for the people who have Amazon Prime, the Fallout games, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, and Fallout 76, all right now. Want to go grab them? So promoting the Fallout show.
Maybe I'll download Fallout 76. I think I had it at one point, and I just never ended up playing it.
Yeah, I think that's what'll happen with a lot of people.
I love Fallout 4 so much. Like it was like truly one of the last games that I played the whole way through.
I
enjoyed it.
I played the absolute hit out of Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, I never played New Vegas.
Oh, New Vegas is the best one, hands down.
I have it downloaded. I think just on my Xbox. So maybe I'll get into that. I'm sure I'm gonna want to after watching the show. So that's getting added to the list.
I started playing Fallout Shelter again.
I used to play the shit out of that too.
Yeah.
But I'll keep it moving here. We got a lot of shit to talk about. Live action rated R Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I bet you didn't expect that. Following the success of last year's animated Mutant Mayhem, that I still haven't seen, by the way, Paramount Pictures is keeping Turtle Power going by putting a new feature project in development. So this is going to go way beyond the realm of all age material that the property's known for. And instead, they're going with a gritty R-rated that territory. So it'll be adapting the last Ronin story, which is seen in recent comics, which is set in a totalitarian future in New York City. The comic miniseries told of how the Turtles and Master Splinter are killed off one by one by the grandson of Shredder and ninjas. One turtle survives and vows to exact bloody vengeance. It wasn't clear which one of the turtles lived, but they did have the weapons of every single turtle, so I'm sure that's just going to be wild as hell. Tyler Burton Smith, who co-wrote the upcoming R-rated action movie Boy Kills World, and who wrote the 2019 movie The Chucky from 2019. He's making the script, so maybe that'll be cool. I don't know. It seems very random to make a hard R-rated Ninja Turtles movie, but I mean, we just live in that world now. They're doing Winnie the Pooh. Why not do Ninja Turtles?
Okay.
More horror news here, stuff like that. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. We're going to get that next Halloween season. It's currently set for a fall 2025 release. The announcement came at CinemaCon. Five Nights at Freddy's was Blumhouse's highest grossing movie of all time, so really not a surprise that this sequel was greenlit so quickly. No other details have been revealed yet, including like the plot or the cast yet, but the first film clearly teases where it could go next. Apparently, I did not watch it, but no,
it was good enough. And I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's person at all. I played the first game, like that was kind of fun. But yeah, people like saw one of the characters or whatever, and like, oh yeah, that's gonna be the second one. So I imagine that's what it is. I don't really.
Okay, and then it's also not. I know the first one came out the same day, movie and on Peacock. Not sure if this one's gonna do the same or not. So apparently, we'll be on the lookout for that. I know I brought this up a couple weeks ago whenever we talked on about the One Pod, but we have the Monopoly movie officially in the works now. I know I mentioned that the rights were acquired by Lionsgate, but now producer Margot Robbie is leaving behind Barbie and building hotels and screwing over her friends with Monopoly here. So her company Lucky Chap is producing a live-action feature film based on the board game. Hasbro is also going to produce it. So it's unclear if she's going to be in the movie or how she plans to make the story from the board game or whatever, but we'll see. Quick one here. I talked about this too. Saw 11 has been delayed to September. So that sucks. That was supposed to come out, I can't remember. This year?
At 2025?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, fuck me. That sucks. Yeah, no, it was supposed to come out like August this year or something.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know why it got pushed back a whole year. I didn't do much about that, but that really sucks.
Open Bell's gonna like die.
I know. The dude looks 100. He's not getting any younger.
How old is he? I don't know. He is 42. So that's 78.
Wow.
No. That's wrong. 82.
Even more wow.
Fuck. Yeah, he's gonna die.
How much did a spit take there? He gonna die. Okay, but next up here we have the Bruce Springsteen movie. I'm not sure if we talked about this yet or not, but it's going to be called Deliver Me From Nowhere. It's an upcoming film about the making of his landmark 1982 album Nebraska. It's going to be made by 20th Century Studios. It's going to star Jeremy Allen White, or at least he's in talks to star as the legendary rocker. He does look like a young...
He does.
So I think that's a perfect casting right there. Nebraska is the follow-up to Springsteen's successful album The River, and was widely expected to be a rock album with the E Street Band. Instead, it was a stark solo album, and apparently this is based on a book about that album as well. The book and the film tell the story of Springsteen's artistic journey in the creation of that record, which is regarded as a watershed in his musical odyssey, which I didn't know what watershed meant, so I had to look it up. It's like a changing of like the trajectory. So
how the fuck is it called that?
No idea. It was such a weird way to put it. I was like, what is that? So Bruce Springsteen and his longtime manager will be involved in the production beginning this fall. I think this is like a perfect casting. I think if done right, this could probably end up with some nominations, especially for Jeremy Allen White here.
He needs something. Like I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Like he got Emmys for The Bear and all that.
Yeah.
Bro needs an Oscar.
I cannot believe that none of those people in the Iron Claw were is a complete travesty and a sham. I've been on a real big Bruce Springsteen kick lately too. Glory Days, man, that song just... I have a couple more things here. Just another quick one here. Dune Messiah is in development, and it will be the end of the trilogy. And this immediately becomes my most anticipated movie because of how good Dune 2 is and how many times I've watched it so far. Unbelievable movie. Did you finally watch Dune 2?
I did.
What do we think?
Did give it a go. I really enjoyed it. I gave it an out of a 10.
Okay.
Definitely liked it more than the first one.
Uh-huh.
What were my issues with it was lack of explanation on things.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of stuff left out detail-wise that was part of the book and that was also in the movie, but straight up not explained.
Okay.
And it was like, wait, hold up, why? And I had to ask my friends that have read the books, and they explained it. I'm like, did they ever say anything about that in like the first movie or this one? They're like, no. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how are you supposed to realize that? But yeah, I did really enjoy it. 8 out of 10 is what I ended up giving it. Ending was good. Austin Butler was good. However, I think I do think it was a miscast. I think they should have got Bill Skarsgård to work with his dad.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been really cool because the face, right? And when you put the Pennywise face next to blank on
Baron Harkonnen.
Yes, next to each other, they're very similar. Obviously, makeup.
Oh yeah,
but like Bill is just a different caliber in my mind, acting wise. But other than that, no, I had no real problems with it. Florence did a good job. The shift in the mother was also pretty drastic.
It was weird. I didn't know if she was like being a dick or like not being a dick. Very weird.
And with that said, and then a little bit of spoilers, but not really. There's a lot of assumed that they don't bring to attention. You have to piece it together. You're like, all right, he's working with them, he's training. Oh, they're fucking taking down the spice harvest. And even after they were just like shitting on didn't want to work with him. I was like, wait, what happened? How much time has passed? And those are my only real problems, which aren't crazy things, but that's what I got.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But no, that does have it at 8. Our top movies.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I don't know what's going to be this year. I'm not sure. I love it. Did you hear a little bit of twang, like a little bit of Elvis in Fade Roth's voice?
As soon as he opened his mouth and he's like, he just like, I'm like, bro, stop. Like
he definitely had some Elvis.
Also could not take. Like, there was a TikTok that everyone was ripping on him because it was like the cast of Dune. I think it was Zendaya who was making a TikTok or something. They're like, hey, it's Zendaya. Hey, it's whatever. And then it gets him. Hey, it's Austin. I'm like, what? Stop.
A couple more things here after Dune talk. Fantastic Four casted its Silver Surfer. Coming out of left field here, Julia Garner is going to play the role of the classic villain, which is making everybody think it's alternate version of the MCU. Julia Garner is best known as playing Ruth in Ozark, and she's apparently playing Shala Bal, who was first introduced as Norrin Rad's lover in Silver Surfer #1, whoever Norrin Rad is. However, apparently she's playing an alternate version of the Silver Surfer, suggesting that she is a different version of the character. I don't know. Getting a little convoluted there, but apparently she is going to be the Silver Surfer.
I did have to dig into this as well because my first thought was, oh, they're just
making her gay.
Yes, he does. Make a game, put a chick in it, make it land. And that was my first thought. I'm like, okay, Dylan, calm down. Think about it. And so, like, I looked it up. So there is a female Silver. That is a real thing in the comic. Okay. And so it was in like in early comic, like 60s. Okay. So it is a thing. My bigger problem is with the casting itself, and I am not a fan of her at all. She was fine in Ozark. Played hick person very well. That's it. I've seen her in other things, and it does not translate. I don't think she is talented enough. But then again, Silver Surfer doesn't really do much speaking.
Right, yeah, I think
so. Maybe that's fine, but I don't know. I do not know what they have planned. All I know is I definitely have a bias against her because she came out with something else. Like, soon after Ozark ended, they like put her in a handful of movies. Yeah, and I could not handle her in any of them.
I know she was like in that like something about like she's a Russian Anna, whatever the hell Anna.
Yeah, where she like pretends to be people or
that one
steals identities or whatever. The fuck, Julia Garner. She was in Inventing Anna.
That's it.
Yeah, that. And then the Royal Hotel was just fucking stupid. Like, I just... And she was in Maniac, too, and I completely forgot she was in it. And it wasn't good. Mm-hmm. Waco, she was good. She was in a cult. And I'm sorry, she's typecast now as just hillbilly backwoods. And, like, it's a shame to say, but I think that's the end of her reign. And I'm probably being a dick, but I'm just not a fan.
It's gonna be really funny if like she's just like all silvered out or whatever. She's like, "God damn it, Marty!
Damn it, Marty! Teach me to launder money."
But I am pretty excited for this movie. I mean, I was a huge Marvel guy. I guess I still am. But I mean, besides Deadpool 3, this is the only other Marvel movie I'm excited. Not excited about any shows, anything else right now. So hopefully this and Deadpool 3 will reignite my MCU fandom because right now it's at an all-time low. So we'll see.
It feels like the kind of feels like it's kind of like the like it is the MCU, but they're like side movies.
Yeah,
those feel like those are doing better than current like.
That's like what they're
movies.
Yeah, what they're doing right now is like all like the new and it's like all that. We'll see.
It's tough.
Last thing of news right here. I know you're gonna be excited. The Matrix 5 is in the works. So Warner Brothers announced the 5th movie in the franchise is in development. It'll be the first installment without Lily or Lana Wachowski as directors. Instead, the Martian screenwriter Drew Goddard will make the film. He will also write the script and produce with his partner, Lana Wachowski, who did direct the most recent installment, is attached as an executive producer. So not clear yet who from the Matrix universe will return. Plot details haven't been revealed, but they did say that the story isn't straying too far from what made the original series a success. So probably gonna just be maybe more grounded and back to what made the first one so good.
I hope so.
We'll see. Hopefully, 'cause I didn't even watch the newest one.
Yeah, and so like
I watched a
that
little bit
was
of it and turned it off.
I was really confused when they announced that last one. I was like, wait, how? How are you making another one? This doesn't make any sense. And they did it, and I'm like, I'm not probably gonna consider that like part of it. When I'm doing my rewatch, I probably won't rewatch that one because it's probably a year thing. I go through the trilogy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and now I'm even more confused on how they're making this one. Definitely gonna see it.
Yeah.
I'm excited, but little what the fuck's the word? Scared optimism.
Okay. I did see that the director Drew Goddard, he was nominated for an Oscar for writing The Martian.
Nice.
And his other feature film credits include Cloverfield, World War Z, and then a writer-director in The Cabin in the Woods and Bad Times at the El Royale. So those are all pretty good movies.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like I think that's a step up from the Wachowski. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be good.
They might have gone off the bed.
I think
so,
absolutely so. That's a fair,
bring someone
very
else.
fair adjustment. That's the end of news. Quite a bit, but we got through it. Now it's time to start banging out some of these movies.
Let's do it. So
In a bun.
last section here, we have 5 movies to go through to see or not. The first one here is Godzilla X Kong, and we have a game with Billy to start it off.
Oh shit.
All right, Ty, this is going to be a Godzilla and King Kong game with Billy.
Wow.
Basically putting them head to head in a few different, mostly movie related trivia.
Okay.
So first one I got for you. Who had a movie first, King Kong or Godzilla?
I'm gonna say Godzilla.
It was King Kong.
Damn.
And it is not close. Kong's first movie came out in 1933.
Wow. So like a black and white. Is that okay? I guess it kind of makes sense. I kind of remember like seeing like the old black and white like monkey up on the building holding lady.
Looks awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Godzilla was 21 years later.
Oh wow.
In 1954. So Japan had to get nuked to make Godzilla because that's kind of how Godzilla started.
Yeah.
Was
Radiated
creation from that. Yeah. There you go. Next one here. Who has more movies, King Kong or Godzilla?
I feel like it's got to be Godzilla again.
Nailed that one, and it is also not even close. King Kong has 10 movies.
I didn't even know there was 10.
Godzilla has 38.
38.
38. He has so fucking many.
Holy shit.
And most of them were made, in that kind of a 1950s to 1970s, 80s range, where every movie was just Godzilla versus whoever, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Godzilla, and like they just kept them pumping out. So 38.
38,
Godzilla.
and only one of them is really good.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with King Kong, which a little spoiler here. That is another question. So Godzilla versus Kong and Godzilla X Kong and Godzilla versus Kong is not the first time Godzilla and King Kong have fought. There was actually a Godzilla versus King Kong movie in 1962. Do you know who won the first time they fought? And it wasn't something stupid like they did in this one where there is a winner. there was actually an assumed winner from this movie.
I'm just gonna keep the Godzilla's rolling because I think Godzilla probably had to have won, but I might be wrong.
That makes a lot of sense for Godzilla, who's supposed to be way fucking bigger than King Kong, just whoop his ass. Yeah. But no, King Kong is the assumed winner because he got struck by lightning, gained superpowers, so he could fight Godzilla. So they fight, they fall into the ocean, and only King Kong comes back up.
That is hilarious.
There were also some rumors that in the Japanese version of the movie, Godzilla won, but that was not true. The ending is that'd be really funny though for Japan. They're like, oh yeah, Godzilla. Yeah. So I read that and I'm like, that's actually pretty funny. King Kong gets struck by lightning. Like, you know what? Superpowers. But no, Godzilla should have totally won. Two more questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, nobody, even in the newest one, nobody expects King Kong to go toe to toe with Godzilla.
And they even made him the same size. Stupid. Two more questions here, Ty. This one is related to the movies themselves. Who has made more money at the box office?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I'm thinking saying he said 38, but I mean, not a lot of those have had to make a profit. But I feel like King Kong has had more decent movies, maybe. At least as far back as like, I don't know, that one came out in like 2000 something, early mid 2000s. I'll say King Kong just for the sake of not saying Godzilla every time.
Oh, you should have went Godzilla.
Oh,
so it is Godzilla, but barely. Kong, $2.03 billion worldwide. Godzilla, 2.29. So pretty close. I will say that these numbers are not fantastic because they don't include many of the older movies. Okay. So not that they would make a huge difference unless you adjusted for like inflation. But I looked at a few different sources, and everywhere, even though the numbers are slightly different in some places, Godzilla has still been the higher at the box office total.
Okay.
And you would think you'd have to. He has 28 more movies.
Right. Yeah. That was my main source of logic there.
Yeah, but the Kong movies, I guess, they're just big enough. So finally, the last one, I kind of alluded to it. Who's the highest rated film on Rotten Tomatoes out of King Kong Godzilla?
Well, I just joke. It's got to be Godzilla -1 with a bullet.
Right. So it is Godzilla -1, and it is only Godzilla -1 because I took this other one out of the equation because it doesn't have that many ratings. But there is actually a 100% rated Godzilla movie. It is Godzilla versus Destroya. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but the number of reviews was kind of low. So I'm like, maybe that's not completely fair. But it is Godzilla -1 at 98%. And then for King Kong, close behind at 97%, was the original King Kong from 1933.
Right.
So, yeah. Basically every answer other than who won the fight was Godzilla.
And you would think that it would have all been Godzilla.
You would think so, because Godzilla is way cooler.
I gotta say, that was a fun game with Billy.
That's a good one.
Came back to 50.
He's back 50. I wonder how many we've done. But, Ty, with that said, you saw Godzilla X Kong. Convince me to see it or not.
All right, let's hop into it. So, I've always had a soft spot for these movies, just for whatever reason. I think they started coming out right at the perfect time for us, just perfect age-wise, too. Even like the Godzilla from the 90s, I think it's considered trash, but I think I still loved it back in the day. I had Godzilla PJs, I think I told that before, but the first King Kong movie I saw at the Mills Mall with my grandparents, so they all hit. Then the remakes and reboots started, and then when they kept it simple and based things in reality, like if actual kaiju attack the city. That's whenever these movies were good. But as more and more have come out, they've gotten more and more convoluted and over the top. They've put too much emphasis on human characters that nobody gives a shit about or is there to see. And that's kind of what had happened with this one. So I feel like it's also more about selling toys because they know they can always make a decent profit at the box. Obviously, they try to aim for a younger demographic to make even more money on the toys. This one's no different. I did write down nothing as far as monster movies go will ever top Godzilla -1. Even whenever they do focus on the human characters, that one, the story's great, stands on its own, even without Godzilla. Fun fact about Godzilla -1, I just Googled it the other day why it was called that. And it's because after the war, whenever Japan was at its absolute lowest point, 0, they didn't think they could be anything lower than that. And then Godzilla shows up, they're at -1.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's actually wild. I had no idea that's why it was called that. But back to Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, I think it's called. It's far less superior to Godzilla -1. Going into it, I didn't have high expectations because I didn't really like the last one all that much with Mecha Godzilla and all that. Pretty just meh. I didn't think this one was going to get a ton better, especially whenever I started to see King Kong wearing that Infinity Gauntlet in the trailers and them running alongside each other in the trailers. That was just a little too much. So it's directed by the same guy who did Godzilla vs. Kong, though, Adam Wingard, and he also directed a few other movies we'd probably recognize. That movie VHS and its sequel. That movie You're Next. You'd recognize the poster. It was like always on Netflix. I don't think I ever watched it, but it looks familiar enough. And then he also directed the Blair Witch reboot from a couple years ago.
God.
Yeah, so he's had his hands.
Holy fuck! He directed Death Note, the live action.
That's it.
Shit. Fuck that dude. Fuck him.
So yeah. Right away, whenever I watched the movie, I laid down some ground rules for myself. If either Godzilla or King Kong spoke English, I was going to walk out.
That's a good rule.
That didn't happen, so I stayed. There's just really not enough action in this movie, though. They focus too much on the girl that can communicate with Kong, like telepathically or whatever. And eventually, then all her ancestors and family start showing up, and they come into play, and nobody gives a shit about any of that. All we want is for Godzilla and Kong to fight sometimes and, like, fight the other kaijus that they are fighting in this movie. And whenever they do that, it's cool and it's good. But there's just too much boring bullshit in between for a really good score. I landed at a 4.5. Not terrible, but definitely not the best. Definitely kind of a fun watch, though, but just too much human interaction. Way too much emphasis on that. And there's just a straight-up VW Volkswagen car commercial in the middle of the movie. They're just like, she's talking to her daughter, then, like, it just cuts away to them walking to, like, a perfectly parked Volkswagen on, like... And it's just the most, like, blatant ad placement I've ever seen in a movie. But, yeah, it was just pretty meh as well. I think these movies, I might be done with them after this one.
That's completely fair, especially if they're directed by that dude.
Yeah, I don't know why they figured to go back to this guy.
I don't know why they haven't figured that out. No one cares about the... Like, at least in Godzilla -1, we did care about the human.
Right,
they made you care about that. But this one, like, they're just thrown in your face, and they're like, oh, he can talk to a monkey. Like, who fucking cares? So, and I guess that was kind of the main thing about the first one was the first King Kong ever was he fell in love with that woman. You know, so I don't know if that was what they were trying to do, but that's also just kind of some weird, like, bestiality shit going on that, you know, maybe we should not talk about, but but yeah, no, I think that's all completely fair. I'm not gonna watch it.
Skip it. I would say skip it.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go on an opposite side here for the movie I saw, Snack Shack. We talked about it briefly not too long ago, and you know, I'm like, that looks okay. We didn't really think much about it, but it came out and it was something to watch. Sophie's brother was down here for the wedding, so we just kind of hung out and watch it. I really liked it. It was funny. It starts off hot, just these two bros. They just they want to make a quick buck. You know, they're young, like high school age in 1991 Nebraska, and they're on like a school field trip. And instead of actually being on the field trip with everyone, they go to the fucking horse track and just bet a bunch of money and win a bunch of cash. That's like the first 5 minutes of the movie. I'm like, all right, I'm in. And so it's just a fun movie. It's just two dudes that are looking to make some cash. They're a bunch of buddies, and then of course, you know, a girl gets in the middle of them. I feel like they didn't need to throw that part in it. It was good without it, but you know, they're always going to throw in some little teenage romance stuff going on in these films. But the main point of it, I laughed a lot and I enjoyed this movie a lot. I ended up actually giving it an 8 out of 10. Which, if you recall from earlier in the episode, that's the same rating I gave Dune 2, which is like wow to me. I had to really check myself when I was doing that. I'm like, man, did I really enjoy it that much? And I did. It was a really fun movie. I think if they would have pumped the brakes a little bit on the romance side of things, I might have gone higher. Like, this was a sneaky, under the radar film that was just straight up enjoyable, unapologetically raunchy. Like, they straight up just went for it in this movie. They don't really hold back. Cussing, being kind of I don't know, dickheads throughout the entire movie. It just really felt like a good, fun film.
Okay, and is it streaming or is it?
You can find it streaming.
Okay, I got it. Thanks for that.
Yes, but yes, it is out there to stream. You know, you can find it pretty easy to. Don't use Google, use DuckDuckGo to search for these things. But you can find it out there to stream. But I really enjoyed it. It did feel a little bit long. An hour 52, which really isn't that long, but it did start to feel a little bit long, I will say. But I enjoyed it pretty much the entire way through.
Okay. I might have to give that one a watch then, especially in an 8.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's fun, silly, just stupid, just a couple bros just looking to make some cash, having fun.
Nice.
You know, making some money in the summer.
Some money. Sweet.
You got we brought it up early on, but you got the First Omen.
Yeah, so you already touched on this one, so I'll keep it a bit shorter. I didn't know a ton going into this one, other than it seemed like an average horror movie. Came out right at about the same time as another horror movie with nuns, except one of them has Sydney Sweeney in it and one does not. So which do you think will do better at the box office? But for me, Late Night with the Devil has set the benchmark for horror this year, so been kind of judging off that and Immaculate to see where everything's at. But I didn't like this movie quite nearly as much as either one of those. It currently has a 6.9 on IMDb. It's 81% certified fresh critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's only got a 68% audience score. So I'm with the audiences on that one. This movie, it was nothing special. It was basically just the same as any other horror movie with like freaky nuns and like some devil shit going on. Some jump scares that are easily telegraphed because the movie's so damn slow. They throw in some sick and twisted body horror. But I regret just not seeing Monkey Man instead of this one. That was one of my notes I literally wrote down in the theater. It was just kind of meh the whole way through. A little bit of a couple twists like on the ending here. And then it just relates all back to the First Omen movie, which I never got to see. So it didn't hit quite as hard for me. They do name drop Damien in it, so I knew that was coming. She goes from being like a possessed, like weirdo, crazy nun bitch to just living in a remote cabin in the woods with 2 demon seed children, like the normally perfect life. So I didn't like that. It was kind of just dumb. Really just nothing special about it, like I said. I ended up with a 4 on it. Lower than Godzilla and Kong, lower than Immaculate as well. It was just, I mean, as far as horror goes, nothing new. It didn't really do anything. which is I'm a little bit surprised. It was getting decent reviews, but yeah, nothing special on it.
Yeah, it is. It's rated pretty decently high, but I think I don't know horror. I have a hard time believing like most people on like review wise on I should say most sites for review wise on horror, because films like It Follows get 100%, and that movie is trash.
Yep.
And then actually good films, they get shit on because they just don't like the content. So it's always a tough one, horror. I feel like that's a tough job to do.
Yeah, definitely. It's so hit or miss whenever there's actually good horror movies coming out, and then there's just stuff that just seems like if this would have came out a couple years ago, it would have been okay, or maybe better. But yeah, no, just wasn't great.
Oh damn. I will go next here with a movie that's not too new. Actually, I believe it was nominated for one of the few that we didn't see but wanted to, and that is Anatomy of a Fall. And so I finally watched it. It was finally out there streaming, so I gave it a go since we talked about wanting to see it for a while. And it's just an okay movie. I thought it was going to be a bit different. You know, the language that they put in the summary of this movie is like, it sounds like so much is dependent on their blind child in terms of this court case. Mm-hmm. And so this isn't a spoiler, this whole point of the movie. So his mom is suspected of killing his dad when he's found like at the bottom of this of their house, just dead. Like the blind kid finds him there. Mm-hmm. And so like it makes you think that the kid's going to be a lot more involved in like, oh, if she's gonna be found guilty or not. Like they do question him and everything, like, you know, what do you know, what have you seen? And it's not like he doesn't know because he's blind, which is what they have you assume. He doesn't know because he was on a walk with the fucking dog. He wasn't physically there to know anything. So it kind of makes you think that he's going to be more important to this movie, but he really isn't. He's more of a secondary character. Okay. Which I think was a bit of a mistake. I think if they would have focused more on, or maybe even changed the plot a little bit to, hey, this kid is blind and is a key witness in this case. But how are they going to determine how accurate what he recalls is if he's blinded? And it even says in the summary, like, the half-blind son is at a moral dilemma as the main witness. Like, he's not. He found the body. He wasn't there when it happened, so he can't be an actual witness. So it's a weird kind of back and forth here. It's way too long, 2.5 hours. More of a court drama than anything. It just was. I think part of my problem was it might have been overhyped for me. Like, I was expecting a lot out of it and didn't get it. With that said, it's not a horrible movie. It's probably worth watching. But just go in with lower expectations. I ended up at a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10, okay.
But the other part was I thought it was a foreign language film, which is, I believe, is what it was nominated for. A lot of the movie is in English.
Okay. I remember seeing it's in like a couple different. Don't they just like flip around?
French.
Okay. French. Okay.
And that's they explain it a bit better in the movie, in like the middle of it. But there's a lot of like, nobody talks like this. Nobody goes from speaking English to French and then back again. I'm like, that's just stupid. You're in France. Speak French. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like how it feels there. But it makes more sense because the woman is actually German. And so her French isn't very good. So English seems to be like a common language that everyone kind of knows.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, cool. They explained that. Because a lot of movies, they don't. They just like go back and forth between languages for no fucking.
What's the significance of the dog?
The dog is kind of like the kid's CNI dog.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's actually a CNI dog, but the dog's always with him.
Gotcha.
But actually, now that I think about it more, I'm pretty sure he's not. It's just a good boy. Just a good boy that hangs with him.
It's a good ass boy. That's fine.
Yeah, but
I remember he was at the Oscars. They made it look like he was clapping and shit.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, dog's cool. Dog's great. Dog's actually the one that finds the body, not the kid.
Oh shit.
So maybe they should focus on the hip, witness instead of the child. But hey, I didn't make the movie. But overall, you could probably throw it on if you got nothing else to watch. But it is.
Okay. What do you say we wrap this one up and I put a bow on it with I'm gonna take everybody on a wild journey here.
Hell yeah.
That is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, brother.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna run you guys through the entire movie because fuck it, why not?
Fuck yeah.
I don't expect everyone to actually watch this, so here's my condensed, cliff-noted version. I couldn't have had any lower expectations for a movie in my life. It's impossible. I stand firmly by the fact that the first one is the first movie I've ever seen in my whole life. It was a wild ride getting tickets for this one. I was like mid-pod when we were talking about it. Yeah. I had tickets at one theater and then they said it was canceled, so I got tickets for another. And I ended up just going back to the original theater because it was closer, and it ended up that they did have the showing. So that was annoying, but it worked out. Since it's a Fathom event release, it's only 3 days, I think, in theaters. There was no previews, but there is a big, long intro from the director, actor, producer. So they go in depth, and they pretty much lay out their plans for the Poohniverse. They go in depth talking about how much better they wanted this one to be. So good for them. They show a trailer for the upcoming Bambi the Reckoning movie, which is this is it right here. Two guys in the woods. They're hunting. One guy says, "You ever shoot a deer?" The other guy goes, "Yeah." And then it just cuts to an undead zombie buck flipping a car over.
Incredible.
So I don't know if I have it in me to see that one, but at this point, I think I have to ride or die with the Poohniverse. I might have to see that one. I think I ought to see them all. I don't know if it's going to be as good as Winnie the Pooh. I don't know what. So who knows? But
at least it's not a high bar.
Right. They also announced the third Winnie the Pooh movie before the second one even started. So that train's just going to keep on rolling there. But into the actual movie now. Right away, the camera quality is so much better than the first one. That was already a major step up. Some things still definitely looked ridiculous, like the gloves that Pooh was wearing. I don't know what was up with that. They looked like Charlie's uncle's hands on It's Always Sunny.
Okay. Gotcha.
Let's see. Pooh got a little less fat, dumpy from the first one, and he's taller and jacked in this.
Good for him.
We definitely got some new characters in this one too. We got the owl. I'm going to send you over a picture of him, who is pretty much just, it's actually the whole cast here. You'll see. He kind of just reminds me of the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
Whenever you get that, you'll also notice Tigger up above him there.
Yep, that's him.
And then the piglet, Pooh with the flaming chainsaw. And if you scroll in, that is young Pooh there. And that was one of the most ridiculous things I've seen. It was hard to find a good picture of it online, but I'm going to send over another picture of it right now.
Okay.
Of young Pooh. That was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my whole life.
Oh yeah, incredible. Looks great.
So,
dude, why's the makeup? It looks like they put clay just on his face and let it harden.
So after the events of the first movie, Christopher Robin, everybody's considering him a murderer. Some people believe him that there's crazy hybrid animal murders in the woods, but other people think he straight up just killed a bunch of people. The people that do believe him, though, go into the woods and try to hunt for Winnie the Pooh and gang. They shoot and kill Piglet. He's actually a huge fucking tank. I don't know how and why they name him Piglet, but he's should just call him Pig or whatever.
He's
but
just Pig.
yeah, they blast his head with a shotgun, so he's dead.
Oh yeah.
But not too long after that, Pooh kills all of them. Two of the three hunters die. One is like severely maimed and injured beyond all recognition and in the hospital. The one guy he kills, he just puts a shotgun up through his head. He doesn't even use it. He just shoves the gun into the guy. Costumes do look better this time around. The practical effects are okay, but I do think the CGI still needs some work. I do think they had too much focus on Christopher Robin. I wanted more Pooh and gang shenanigans. At one point, I just told you about this. We get the flashback to young Pooh. Now it's absolutely ridiculous. Here's where I'm going to give them their props, though. They make it make sense. They make the first one and this one make sense. I mean, the first one, there's no excusing that. It's still terrible. But through the story of this one, which is essentially some Frankenstein Pet Cemetery shit, they actually make it make sense and give it a real plot instead of just Winnie the Pooh in the woods killing people, I guess. But like I said, we do get Tigger in this one, and he is just, for lack of he's like an urban, like a black guy, I guess, because and then he just has like a ghetto accent, and he is just vulgar as hell, and it is so funny. It's hilarious, but you gotta watch because he's just chasing these people down. He's like, "Come here, bitch! What are you doing?" It's like so funny. That being said,
I gotta say, like that doesn't look like Tigger. You know,
no, it looks like Pooh kind of too.
Yeah,
so it was confusing.
Change the ears.
Yeah. The editing is still pretty bad and choppy, jumping from scene to scene. In the end, Winnie the Pooh gets his head cut in half by Christopher Robin with an axe, but he falls into an open grave. So you just know he's going to get reanimated and come back to life for the third, and that is exactly what they set up. Him and Piglet both get reanimated. But I will say that this movie is leaps and bounds better than the first movie. There's actually substance to the plot instead of just nonsense with bad costumes and bad everything. But it's still not a great movie by any means. But like I said, the editing needs work. The dialogue is still pretty bad. I think they should have just turned up this ridiculousness to 100 like Terrifier does.
Yeah, why not?
I think there needs to be more kills and violence and less emphasis on that like human element, like I say for a lot of stuff that's kind of like this, just like Godzilla and Kong. Focus on what people are there to see. That being said, this movie is not going to be my lowest score of the year, and it's quite a bit more tolerable than the first even. It's actually worth a watch for the sake of how ridiculous it is. I did end up at a 4 on it, about the same as the First Omen, which is unexpected.
It is.
So,
you got to pick one. What are you seeing?
This by a long shot, actually.
Damn,
It's probably like a
wow.
4.5, actually.
Okay.
I'll have to go and update the doc, but
Yeah.
this could end up being like the biggest surprise list on the biggest surprise at the end of the year, but not for being like great, just for being a surprise that it's not as zero.
Absolutely.
If I watch this, if you got time this weekend, just throw it on.
I probably will. God damn it. Yeah, no, I probably will. So I did notice, I was like, he brought on another writer.
Yeah. Yep.
So this guy, Matt Leslie, came in, saved the show. He
Really
was,
did.
he was a part of Straight Outta Compton.
What?
Yeah. He was additional crew for Straight Outta Compton.
That's outrageous. That was like a pretty well-received movie.
Yeah, so, all right. Good job, Matt. Making it worthy of being seen. So, maybe this Frank Waterfield guy just sucks at writing.
At this rate of exponential growth amongst these Winnie the Pooh movies, the next one might be a 7.
Hey,
Winnie
here
the
it
Pooh movie
comes.
might be a 7. So who knows? I'm excited for the third one now. I mean, I didn't think it was ever
We got to
gonna
do
be
like
good.
a live watch of these.
Yeah, I think we'll have
Maybe.
we'll have to. I think
Awesome.
that's gonna be the end of our mega episode.
That is going to end it. That's a 2-hour episode, Ty.
Banger.
That's a long one. Got a lot of good content in. A lot of hopefully helpful information for you guys on these films. We know there hasn't a ton yet, but we're getting there. There's more coming out each time. And Ty, the Leroy, Texas movie is now streaming at our favorite streaming service. So that
Might have to try to watch that too.
That just happened as we were recording. So
wow,
more often than not, we'll be doing a full review of that next week.
Sweet, yeah, we're gonna start being more consistent with our uploading.
Okay, grind it out. We're back at it. Big mega episode, 50 episodes, and